School District number 52. Please join for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll move on to the approval of the agenda. Any comments, questions, changes?
No.
I will move to approve the agenda.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, moving on to delegations. Mr. Peterson.
Very quickly, I want to acknowledge that County Benton City High School had a state champion wrestler this year, Aubrey Newberry. When you get an opportunity, the next time you're at the high school, I have a conversation with Mr. Henry, because she has demonstrated a high level of grit, determination, perseverance in her life, and to culminate that with a state championship is pretty darn impressive, quite frankly. So,
As a sophomore.
yeah. So we have things to look forward to, but congratulations to Aubrey.
That's fantastic news. Thanks for calling that out. We'll move on to the proposed consent agenda. Any comments or questions here? I do want to thank Drew Robb for his service as Executive Director of Finance. It's been a great couple of years with him and all the work he's done, and wish him well in his new position down the road.
Yeah.
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, move on to public comments. Do we have any electronic? Any public comments? All right.
Guess you gotta ask.
We will move on to new business. Item 7A levy update, Mr. Peterson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Skipper. Well, the results of the levy were close, as the board is very aware. We did not pass, and unfortunately, we came up with exactly 50 votes short. So really, what that, I know we've had individual conversations over the last few days, but what we really, I think, have landed on, and I think the board is correct in that we need to regroup a little bit, do some meetings, and later on in the agenda, we'll talk about having some meetings with community, see where some focus areas need to be, see where the district is as far as district recommendations for potential cuts. We're in a unique situation in that we have two opportunities before us. We have either August or November of this current calendar year, next year's school year, that we can make a determination to run our levy again. But in the meantime, I think it's in the best interest of the board and the district that we take a look at our spending and make whatever adjustments we can financially to make sure that we make it through to that time, and then with the potential of making sure that we're in a good place regardless of the outcome of a August or a November ballot. So it's going to entail a lot of conversations at each of our buildings, as well as conversations with our community. I think in this day and age, when it seems that a mandate can be something along the lines of 4 or 5%, we were not even that far away. We finish at 48.5%. And realistically, when you look at the levy situation compared to 2 years ago, We passed by 68 votes the last time. We failed by 50. So over the course of 2 years, we've swung 118 votes is all. So I think that that's a message though to the district to be more focused, to make sure that we're passing along proper, pertinent, timely information and really are listening to our constituents. So
We have from a different time than that, do we have any kind of I don't want to call it a newsletter or anything that we generally get out like once a month or every now and then that talks about here are the accomplishments, here's what we've got going and that type of thing to the voting public so they hear what's going on?
I do a monthly newsletter that goes to the West County Times. That's an online publication. And then we publish that to the website so that folks can always see it. We used to do a mailer. We cut that back. At one point, we were up to even 3 or 4 times a year that we would do a mailer. Unfortunately, the cost of postage has really eliminated that as a viable option. We still do one a year or try to do one a year. That's a physical mailer to everybody in the district. It really is dependent on our principals and our buildings to be getting out information to parents and community about what's going on in their building, but we try to do it as much as possible from the district. I think a lot of times that I think it's the times we live in, people are much more likely to click on something they see come to their inbox as opposed to go looking for it on our website, unfortunately. But I know our people are doing yeoman's work to try and get the messages out.
Accomplishments like you mentioned earlier, the state champion wrestling, that kind of thing really helps push in the community.
Yep.
You see it ties in with a certain group, but also it kind of ties in with the accomplishment that this happened and that whether it's wrestling, football, academics or anything else, it's just kind of just what we've done. That kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that we could have met last week and crammed through an approval to put the levy back on the ballot as early as May. And we chose not to do that because I think just expecting the electorate to change over the next couple of months without really going and doing the work to, as you mentioned, looking at our spending, perhaps cutting some of the things that might be nice to have, as opposed to the things that we have to have. And so I think that's a good next step for us to do rather than just try and hope the public changes their opinion on this matter. So I think we need to go out there and prove that we've taken that step and open up the books that are already public so that people can see where that spending is going and if there are any concerns there. But I think we're all committed to providing the best educational opportunity we can with the funds that we have, and to the extent that we need to make cuts under this situation, then we're going to target those that have the least impact on our kids. So we'll do what we need to do.
Agreed. And I think it's also important, and you said something that resonates, Josh, in that regardless of whether it's 50 or 500, we've got some work to do. Sheer numbers don't necessarily tell the whole story. So I'm in 100% agreement with that.
All right. If nothing else, we'll move on to item 7B, Resolution 2-2025, adoption of a modified educational program for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. Mr. Peterson.
Yes. So the board has seen these before. This is the first step that the district has to take, that the board has to take in order for us to be compliant with all of our bargaining agreements and such, so that when we're looking at making any reductions that could impact personnel, that everyone realizes that we are understanding that there have to be changes made for the next school year. And if you go, I'm not going to read this to you, although with no one else here, I actually think I should. So this is resolution number 2-2025 adoption, modified educational program for the 25-26 fiscal year. Whereas the financial resources of the district will not be adequate to permit the district to maintain its educational programs and services at substantially the same level for the 25-26 fiscal year due to several factors, including but not limited to significant loss of funding and an increase in mandated expenditures. Whereas a general uncertainty exists regarding the district's projected budget for the 25-26 fiscal year due to several factors, including but not limited to structural changes to K-12 funding, its possible decrease in local funding. Whereas the district has been presenting financial and personnel impacts to the board at its regularly scheduled board meetings. Whereas the board of directors has been given the fiduciary responsibility to maintain the district's fiscal health and reasonable levels of financial stability, and the board of directors is accountable to the citizens and patrons of the Kiona-Benton City School District to provide an appropriate public educational program reduction or elimination. Whereas the district adheres to bargain agreements and understands that items in some bargain agreements may be financially affected in the case of uncertainty and financial emergency or subject to program reduction or elimination. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Directors of Kiona-Benton City School District number 52 that a general uncertainty exists regarding the projected budget for the 25-26 fiscal year. Be it further resolved that the superintendent is directed to work with district administration, KBEA, the PSE, Secretaries Association, and the Extracurricular Association to implement a modified educational program that includes, but is not limited to, number 1, a reduction in force due to attrition, number 2, reduction in current staffing levels, and number 3, reduction of current programs and services. Adopted by the Board of Directors by the Kiona-Benton City School District in an open public meeting on February 24th, 2025. And the primary reason that I really wanted to read that into the public record is that, the first thing that we are going to look at is attrition. The second thing that we're going to look at are current staffing levels and whether we can make adjustments there. And then we will look at reduction of programs and services. So wherever we can make cuts without impacting people currently employed, we're going to do that first.
Any comments or questions on that? And thank you for reading that. And I think that's important for anyone who may be watching and wondering what we're about to vote on. Any comments? No? I'll entertain a motion on resolution 2-2025.
I will move to approve resolution 2-2025, adoption of modified educational program 2025-26 fiscal year.
All in favor?
I believe we need a
Do we need a
roll
roll
call.
call?
Yep.
What do I do?
Mr. Skipper.
I forgot. Sorry, Mr.
Aye.
Skipper. Mrs. Bryan,
Aye.
Mr. Rapp.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. As soon as I said that, I realized that's probably.
I'm like way out of practice.
That's all right. Thank you.
All right, moving on to item C, public meeting discussion, Mr. Peterson.
And this is an agenda item related to what we were talking about before. I would propose that over the course of, quite frankly, the next month, but periodically above and beyond that we do schedule some community meetings. I do not want to set those in stone, of course, right now, but I want to get it out there so that you can all take a look at your calendars. Obviously, there are other community events that when Heidi is back, we'll make sure to get those to you for your calendar so that we're not interfering. Any of our typical social events that happen in Benton City, we'll make sure and avoid those. Any other public meetings, city council, anything like that. I would ask that we have at least one, if not two, but no more than two board members available for those meetings. And then we also would be in my opinion, well served by scheduling at least one, if not more, public work sessions so that we can have the whole board in attendance during an open conversation, perhaps after our initial attempts to get some community feedback, have an open workshop, and then set some parameters moving forward from there.
Completely agree, that's really important communication, because there's gonna come a time when those are the types of things that help formulate how you feel about your vote and what you want to see.
Yep, absolutely. And then I'll be calling on the members of the board to find some friends and neighbors in their local area and perhaps bring them out to a meeting or 2 or 3 if we can do that. So like I said, nothing on the books as of tonight, but we'll get some important dates out there and some possibilities. If at all possible, one of the things that the district has had a high level of success doing is piggybacking whenever we have another parent meeting going on here, either at the high school or at the elementary middle school, and trying to tie those two things together so that folks aren't making multiple trips out. If we can invite folks in, give them a piece of pizza or 2, and then send them off to another meeting after they talk to us or after, it would be a good thing.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously we can schedule more than one, but to the extent that people have plans in the evening and understand that they're not always able to make it out to a meeting. Email addresses for board members are on the website. You're welcome to reach out. Any other ways that people can or should reach out with either comments, questions, suggestions, particularly pertaining to the levy or this resolution we just passed that you would recommend? Because I'll just say, I don't think any of us are going to be focusing too much on Facebook threads. So if you want to contact us, then please reach out.
Yep.
But so I suggested our email addresses, which are available on the website, but any other avenues that you would suggest?
I would say while we don't monitor all of the Facebook threads, the official Coyote Benton City School District Facebook, Instagram, those official media, we actually do answer questions. Our communications person gets those. She will call me first thing the morning after the day they come in. So any queries made directly to those or to the public information email address that's on our website, those will all be answered.
Good. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, moving on to item 7D, policy 3141, non-resident students. Mr. Peterson.
Yeah, this one is fairly simple in that what we're doing is we have policy 3141 on the books. The district has had this on the books for quite some time. However, one of the things that we have neglected is that we need to add a statement around revocation of transfer in order to be compliant with state law. So it's the yellow highlighted statement that simply says non-resident attendance may be revoked by the district if there's a lack of space available in program of classes, the student fails to maintain regular attendance, or the student violates district policies on student behavior. This, like I said, is quite frankly for no other purpose than bringing us into compliance with the law. Doesn't do us much good to have a law that says that it can happen, and this is the process to follow if we don't have the process out there.
Yeah. Any comments or questions on policy 3141?
Policy 3141, non-resident students.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving on to item 7E, school year calendar.
Yeah, we have, I will knock on wood, that we will make, that we'll only have one snow day this year. And with that being said, we will be utilizing March 14th, which is previously labeled on our calendar as Snow Makeup Day or Professional Development Day. So we will utilize that as a school day, simply putting that before the board to make the official change so that I can notify the staff.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion on that calendar revision.
I'll give that one.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving on to board comments.
I have nothing, Mr. Peterson kind of covered mine with congratulatory to Aubrey Newberry, that's pretty awesome. Pretty impressive for a sophomore to go over there and.
Yep.
Bring home some hardware, that's pretty awesome, so that's great, I hope she can repeat it, oh, I think that's. Yeah, I think that might be trademarked, but. I bet I won't get caught, so. Anyway, that's all I.
I really applaud and the thought of making sure we have good communication with the district on levies. And it's very hard to go overboard on it. Because it does two things. One, that people know, and then number two, it flushes out any concerns that maybe people are harboring for that. And that way it does takes away the way you never hear about it type of thing.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
All right, moving on to superintendent's report.
And just a couple of points very quickly. First off, the executive director of finance position did post on Friday. We have one official applicant and another one that's in the process. So that's pretty darn impressive, actually. They're both qualified people. So that is a very positive thing. And then we're right in the middle of our annual audit. It's going very well. Mona, much to her chagrin, is now the point person for that. But we did talk. I sent an email to the auditor making sure that they fully understood that we were in transition and that some of the things they asked for may take us a little bit longer, not have them at our fingertips. I don't foresee there being any issues with that moving forward.
Can you remind me when that entrance meeting is? I saw that email come through, but I had not put it on my calendar. And if you have that, is it Wednesday at 1, I want to say?
It is.
If it's only you and Pete.
Yeah, I'm 99% sure that's exactly when it is. Wednesday at 1 o'clock.
I thought it was I thought he sent it to the rest of the board as well.
Yeah, we got it. It can wrap it undeliverable.
Of course.
February 26th, 1 o'clock.
There you go.
Using Teams.
So I thought, all right. Thank you.
And that's all I have.
All right, with that, we'll move into executive session pursuant to RCW 42.30.110, section 1G, performance of a public employee to last 30 minutes with no business to follow, and we will be adjourned.